The landing. On and on and on into the dawn they were chased and gave chase, the two skiffs and two government dual powers. The cliffs were close and the surf was violent. "We're scuppered!" screamed the eyes of Crispin, the chief of the operation. Gilgus, the lad who was turning the sail, looked back in terror at the other skiff. It was being overtaken by one of the dual powers. Kirby, Derak and Koltas were done for. And all for what? Those Shidwats already had seized the barge, the cargo they'd tried to land. Why, oh why, didn't they just leave them alone now that they had the contraband? Gilgus was gibbering into the mast. "Brave heart, lad," the eyes of the old man said. Loading a bolt into his crossbow, Crispin turned when he heard the shots and the scream on the other skiff. The government pigs had got one of the lads. The dual-power boats had pulled to now, leeching the captured skiff of its threat to their power and the life from those lives aboard it. They wouldn't follow. Crispin's skiff would be the warning to the folks at home. "Poor lads," Crispin muttered. "Most of the world gone, and now nothing but this." He looked over at Gilgus. The boy had never known what the world had been like before Great Death had done his dance. He had never known of the things like electrics, cars, tinned food, pets, e-coupons, texted jokes, and stood-up dates. "Why? What?" Gilgus screamed. "Keep that sail, boy!" Crispin shouted above the crashing waves. They had to get round to Karna's Point, just past the main promontory. "Once we're at the point, it'll be lee braces the rest of the way. Easy now!" When they rounded the point, Crispin rose from the board and helped Gilgus and Rushton, the silent one, rig the sail. Both younger men were weeping, their eyes wetter than the spray from the point rocks. Crispin patted Gilgus on the back and noticed him staring at the deck. And Crispin saw and was reminded in a flash of fire what had been on the barge. The laminated sheet was the manifest. Most of the space was taken up by barley sacks, bottles of dandelion and burdock, penicillin and aspirin. The last item, the one that displaced 2 hundredweights, made him want to laugh. The pigs would make beer with the barley, give the dandelion and burdock to party members' kids, while the penicillin and aspirin would be split and sold at obscene prices. Crispin noticed Rushton looking at the last item on the list. "Copies of a book, lad," he told him, not that Rushton could hear very well. "They'll burn him or bury him because they don't want any to read 'em." Gilgus started to weep again. Crispin let him, because he knew that he had to get it out of his system. The loss of the boys on the other skiff, to be sure, as well as the community having to starve the autumn through now. But there was no way of letting Gilgus and Rushton know how much he wanted to cry because the bastards had banned and murdered powerful words. He looked at the last item on the sheet. 500 dictionaries, before he crumpled the page and threw it overboard, wasting the plastic too.